Pulse School on RealAgriculture.com is brought to you by BASF.
Welcome back to another edition of the Pulse School. I'm Jessica Goose with Real Agriculture, and joining me right now is Bethany Wyatt, who is one of many senior technical service specialists for BASF in Saskatchewan. Bethany, how are you doing today?
Very good, thank you.
Awesome. How are you doing with this wind out here?
It's not something we are not used to.
Exactly. So today we're talking about herbicide efficacy, and with that, we're finding that farmers are a little impatient out here. What are you seeing?
So it kind of happens every year, but especially on drier years. When we're applying a herbicide, a lot of farmers do jump the gun on evaluating herbicide efficacy. It's a difficult thing. When you apply a herbicide, you expect to see the weeds to be controlled relatively quick. But we have to remember that within pulses especially, the actives that we are using, the modes of action do take a little bit longer, and we need to sometimes just be a little bit more patient. Mm-hmm. And then especially under these drier conditions, it can take a little bit longer than on a good growing year.
Yeah, unfortunately, there hasn't been too much moisture here in southern Saskatchewan, as well as across southern Alberta and a big pocket in southern Manitoba here. So drought, unfortunately, is one of the big words that's kind of popping out here with what farmers are dealing with. Now, what are symptoms that we can see when it comes to pulses?
So when we're assessing a pulse field after applying a herbicide for efficacy, the most important thing to first of all remember would be the amount of time. Again, as I just mentioned, that we usually get there a little bit too early because there are herbicides out there that you can usually assess pretty quickly, see whether it's going to do the job or not. But in pulses, we're mostly dealing with the group 1 graminicides and the group 2s, and they do just take a little bit longer. So what we want to look for with the group 1s in particular is you'll see chlorosis or yellowing of the newest leaf. You will start to see that, but ultimately complete efficacy, which may take up to 2 to 3 weeks. You can be sure that the weed is actually dying when you're able to pull the newest leaf cleanly from the sheath. It will be pinched off, brown at the end, then you can be sure that grassy weed is going to die. The newest leaves may be yellow. Your oldest leaves might still be green, but as long as that growing point is brown, pinched off, you can pull it out easily. Rest assured that weed is going to be controlled.
Mm-hmm. And what about group 2s?
So group 2s, they also take, they can take a while, but rapid, or there is rapid initial stunting, or the growth will stop quite quickly, but complete death may also take 2 to 3 weeks. So the main thing that we're looking for in group 2s is at the growing point, you'll see reddening, purpling on the broadleaf weeds. Again, stunting, it'll kind of stop at that meristematic tissue, may also send out a few little branches. The grassy weeds, because group 2s have activity on both broadleaves and grassy weeds, so that's for the broadleaf weeds. The grassy weeds will have yellowing on the newest leaf as well, some striping, and again, it might take 2 to 3 weeks under good growing conditions to see complete death.
Mm-hmm. So patience is a virtue, that's the big thing. Don't think right away if you just sprayed. A couple days later, if you're not seeing kind of results, you have to really wait for it. What are we seeing lastly here with resistance out here?
So resistance has been a hot issue for the last few years, and it's only going to continue as we keep using the same actives. We are limited in pulses for which actives that we can use, and as a result, we are seeing a lot more resistance. A lot of the times when we go to assess herbicide efficacy, it may not be getting controlled perfectly, and sometimes it won't at all. And a lot of the times it does turn out to be resistance. We are starting to see, we have been seeing and just starting to continue to see more and more wild oat resistant to group 1s and 2s, a lot more group 2 resistance broadleafs, for example, kochia, stinkweed, wild mustard, just to name a few, and the list kind of just keeps getting bigger every year.
Mm-hmm. So something definitely to look out for. Thank you so much for your time, Bethany. I really appreciate it.
Thank you.